Hi, this is Truth Be Told Transformation, and I'm Bonnie Burkert, here to share tools for transformation to live your highest truth. You're listening to the music of Brenda McMorrow, and one thing that I know for sure, I know to be true, is that music is very healing in all its many different forms. Brenda, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Brenda, I'm really excited to see you this coming Saturday night in Los Angeles. And the event that you're doing at Veda Yoga on La Cienega is entitled Mantras and Medicine Songs. So I want, and what was it? And what was the other part about the poetry? Mantras?
Yes, and mystic poet.
And mystic. I did
poetry.
Get that word. One of my favorite words is mystic.
Yes, and that's John. John Decade is an amazing percussionist, and he's also a spoken word artist and a poet, beautiful poet who has a new poetry book coming out. So he'll be sprinkling in some mystic poetry throughout the music that evening.
Wow, that sounds great, and I really look forward to hearing what that's about. So let's start with me asking you the question about the medicine songs. So, yeah. What would that? I want to, because we're going to talk about you as a kirtan singer, right? So the event that we're talking about is a kirtan concert, mantra music, call and response, a little history of that. So I want to know, are medicine songs? Are all mantras medicine songs, or are all medicine songs mantra songs?
Well, very good question. Well, I think that in the broad sense, all music is medicine. I think you and I chatted a little bit about that. But in this circumstance, when we do medicine songs, quote unquote medicine songs during our concerts, they are traditional or adaptations of traditional ceremonial songs done in Latin America. So they're in Spanish, and they're done in all kinds of different ceremonial contexts where the music is very often it has a lot of devotion to it, just like bhakti, just like kirtan, devotion to Mother Earth. We may have heard the word Pachamama. This is Madre Tierra, Mother Earth. People's connection with the divine spirit, but also with all of nature is sung to. So I live in Mexico, and I'm very fascinated by the indigenous cultures in Latin America, South America. And I started learning these beautiful songs. And my last album is all Spanish medicine songs with mantras combined. So our concert on Saturday will incorporate mostly mantra with some of these Spanish language medicine songs sprinkled in like the mystic poetry as well.
Wow, that's so great. I mean, I'm very, very interested. I had a chance to live in Mexico for a year, and it's, as much as I, of course, resonate with the I'd say Northern European traditions in a lot of ways, I also love to study about. Certainly, I've had a chance to visit, to spend time in different areas, particularly of the Yucatan. So, how does that fit into your path, Brenda? I mean, was it something like, what came first in a way, the studies of yoga and Eastern, or have you, as a North American, you're from Canada originally, right? Was Mexico and Central America always something that you knew about, and perhaps the spirituality of that region?
Yes. Well, for me, mantra and kirtan and yoga came first. It was in the early 2000s. I was already a folk singer for many years, folk pop singer for about 12 years prior to that. And I discovered kirtan, and it really, everything kind of shifted at that point. I still incorporated some of my English songs, but mostly I just became fascinated by learning about the tradition of mantra and bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. So that became really my path for a number of years, and it still is. And then in the last, probably in the last 6 or 7, or maybe 7 or 8 years, I've been learning the Latin American songs, the medicine songs, and and weaving them together. So I find personally that vibrationally, both types of music, both types of devotional practice are similar. I feel the same upliftment, the same kind of healing, and the same kind of expansion. And I'm noticing that the audiences who come to my events are feeling that too. And people are often quite excited about learning these Spanish songs. We do them in call and response so that people can learn them. And it's it's a very similar vibe and intention, I think, behind the music.
One of the things I look forward to, because I'll definitely be joining you on Saturday, is we're right up against 12/12, which is the Day of Miracles. Dia, what is it? Dia del Milagros?
De los Milagros.
Sí. De los Milagros, sí.
The Day of Miracles.
Right. So bring that for us, please. I think we're all searching for that, very much so.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all want to really get in touch with sort of the reality of the miracle of who we are, right? And that helps us so much when everything outside of us is swirling around in a way that's pretty confusing all around in the world. And so when we keep connecting here, like miracles, like you said, then it can bring calm and peace and an ability to show up in a different way.
I think we really, I think it's, and we're also, astrologically, as well as just sort of where we're at in the season in the Northern Hemisphere, it is a deep, dark time, a deep, dark, cozy time, right? For retrospective.
A lot changing.
Yeah.
A lot changing inside. And so when we go to that deep, dark place, there's like an incubation and shifts that are happening underneath. It's wonderful.
No, I love that very much. So, Brenda, you mentioned that you were a singer-songwriter, more so in the folk pop realm before. And had you been teaching yoga at the point of you learning about mantra music, about kirtan singing?
No, actually, when I first discovered kirtan, I had only just started doing asana practice, and it wasn't even, I had never heard of kirtan. This was in 2004. I was just doing it basically for the exercise, for the yoga.
Sure.
And then it was when I discovered kirtan, I started really diving into what yoga truly is. And I got my yoga teacher training. I did my yoga teacher training in, I believe it was 2012. And I didn't really do the training in order to be an asana teacher per se. I wanted to be able to dive more into the broader sense of yoga as well as the physical part. And so that did come after. Kirtan led me into a deeper yoga practice.
Yeah, I can relate to that very much so, because I remember, I used to go to yoga classes in New York City, and it was the meditation part was very hard for me at the end. I was into the movement. It was more stretching. It was more hatha, so it wasn't even vinyasa, but I know we'd have to meditate at the end. And my studio was above an Indian restaurant, so I could smell the curry and the yummy flavors. I was so hungry, and it was just very interesting because I eventually did make my way to a kirtan, and I wish I even remember how I could have gotten to that. And that was where I experienced my first deep meditation, was through singing and realizing that I was very immersed, and time stood still for me while in that. So I love that. Beautiful. And I work around music. The day job is supporting musicians, and so and more so on the pop side. And although Dave Stringer, of course, always your friend and mine, Dave Stringer. But I just wanted to ask, as a songwriter, you write songs to express, right? So that's what you were doing leading up to this discovery of this different genre of music. So I'd love to know your thoughts on how mantra, you are still expressing yourself, but you're using these sacred mantras rather than words poetry that you yourself are sort of coming through with your lyrics?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, a number of my songs, though, do have some English. I weave together English or Spanish with the mantras, but a number of them are purely mantra and kirtan. And the way, I think, like for me in my process as a songwriter, very often the melodies always came first for me. I would start hearing a melody, and then I would figure out the chords on the guitar, and then I would, work that, and then the lyrics would start to come. I'd start writing. And so for me, when I started wanting to offer, mantras as my main musical experience for people when I would do concerts, I would just do the same process where I would be writing the melody, and then I would have, at any given time, a particular mantra that was really speaking to me at that time in my life, that I was using in a more Vedic practice, like in my own mantra practice, with the repetition, with the mala. I might, for example, if I had Shiva as a practice, an Om Namah Shivaya, then I might start writing a melody, and then the Shiva mantra would come. So it would really, it was kind of mysterious, though, of course, at times, because sometimes mantras that I hardly knew at all would just seem to be wanting, like they were knocking on the door.
Yes.
So then that would help me to do a deeper dive into what this mantra is, experiencing what other people were offering in terms of melody and just their presence and their teachings about it. So I would learn a lot while I was then writing a song that had that mantra. But yeah, it's and sometimes I would specifically want to write about a particular mantra. If I knew that there were a lot of obstacles happening for me, or I was perceiving a lot of obstacles, thinking that I couldn't figure out how to move through something, I might think, okay, I want to sit down and write a song to Ganesh, and then I would have that word for the mantra first, and then I would develop or let a melody come through.
Okay, yeah, that's sweet. And I think what you just described there is the medicine. I mean, and I'd like to discuss that term with you a little bit. I mean, I often think of it as a little bit more shamanic, but I love the tone of referencing medicine, because it's not only healing. It's almost more all-encompassing. It's almost broader in the medicine. Yeah. And so it feels like you yourself were receiving medicine in the process of bringing through a song that then delivers it onto us.
Yeah. I like that, how you said that, how it seems more all encompassing, if that's the phrase you used, like it's broader than just a medicine or a modality that goes into to fix or heal a certain thing.
Yes.
It is. It's like the medicine is in the discovering of our connection to everything, and then with that experience, that felt experience, or that intention, perhaps then the healing that each one of us needs that is different, I guess the healing we can think of too is the return to ourselves, like the removing the obstacles to just this state of well-being. So the term medicine, and I love how it sounds in Spanish, medicina, is like grace. It's the way the divine shows up for us in our lives, and one of the ways is through the vibration of sound, and it's big. It touches us on every level. It's not super specific, although it can get super specific, but it's quite a broad understanding, I think, or a broad feeling.
Yes, I love that. Well said. So do you have a favorite mantra?
Yeah. I mentioned Om Namah Shivaya already,
Sure.
and I would have to say that one is with me all the time. All the time. This is, a mantra for anyone who is new to mantra. This is a mantra to the divine masculine in the form of Shiva. And Shiva is known as the transformer. He's also known as the destroyer, and destruction in the best sense of the word, destroying what we don't need anymore in order to then make way for the new. And when we chant to Shiva, we're also chanting to our true self. Om Namah Shivaya is like I bow down to my true nature. It also, I just find that the more that I realize that change is inevitable. Sometimes I think even when we get to a certain point in our life where we think, okay, I know that everything changes, sometimes we still resist it. Or maybe I'll speak for myself.
That's true.
It's like we still want things to kind of stay the same. And Shiva, when I chant to Shiva, to that Shiva energy, it helps me just to let go. I have a song called Falling Away, and it's a Shiva. It's English and mantra together. We sing Om Namah Shivaya. And we also sing Jaya Shiva Shankara, which is like a name of Shiva. But we're also talking about the falling away of this identity as that is that we are separate. We have this feeling that we are separate, and we are this, we are that, we have this belief, we are, the song is very much about like just letting it go. And the Shiva mantra just supports those English lyrics so well, and the feeling is there. So yeah, that's my long answer for what is my favorite mantra. I think Om Namah Shivaya.
Cool. Thank you. And that was the first mantra that I really connected with myself.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember that. It's funny because it took me a little while to figure out that Shivaya was Lord Shiva.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I didn't put two and two together for a little while.
Yeah.
But it still felt good, and it worked, and it achieved meditation. Yes. And so Ganesh, Ganesha, it was pretty clear that was Ganesh, but Shivaya was like, that was a stretch for me.
That's right. Yeah. You wouldn't know until you were, until you knew that that's another way to call out.
I think though it speaks to the resonance of just the actual words themselves. I mean, and certainly the practice of recitation. So, and song. Certainly a good song, a good melody can really help take you deep and keep you there for a while as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't the power of music like as medicine, as something that is there for us to heal and to return home to our well-being it's incredible. The fine vibration of sound, and when it's done in a way that is uplifting, it can change so much. People's mood shifts and they become hopeful again, and it feels just so essential for during this time on our planet and for humanity is to access that. And we all have it. We all have the ability to make sonic medicine. Every single one of us, if we can, even somebody who isn't able to speak can make other sounds, and so sound is here for us. Right at our fingertips, right at our vocal cord tips, and our, it's so powerful.
Tools for transformation, right there. You're reminding us that we have it. It can just be, a hum away.
Yes, humming is amazing. An om. Sometimes the hum will become an om, or sometimes it's just a hum. It's very powerful. We're vibrating, the different parts of our physiology when we do that, and it's very soothing for the body to create sound like that.
And we're forgetting one other important part of music is the ability to bridge people, cultures, right? I mean, think about the music, like, for example, you were talking about bringing in medicine songs of Latin America to our event on Saturday night. So again, maybe that's a learning experience. Of that culture. And, that's actually one of the credos of Truth Be Told, and it's a foundation under which our show runs. It's called Earthly Beings Foundation. And we're looking to preserve ancient traditions of all kinds of cultures from all over the world. So I just I thought I would throw that in. But again, just the ability to bridge different cultural groups with song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a great connector, an amazing connector. And I've felt very blessed because when I am in India or here, singing mantras, which come from a different culture rather than the one that I grew up in, or here in Latin America and Mexico, people are very embracing of people from other cultures or countries wanting to share in the medicine of the music. And I think, it's so important for us to really honor the origins and the people that have brought us this music. And, but yeah, I've had such really only positive feedback around my doing it, and that's wonderful. I think it's, there's something about it that's happening in India right now where a lot of young people, and these are Indian friends of mine have told me this, a lot of young people, kids, they're kind of moving away from the traditions of India. So when I'm certainly not saying this to take credit for young Indian people liking kirtan, but it's one example of it. I've been told that when there's sort of a Western sound with it, it's intriguing and it kind of catches the attention of some of these kids. So I have a song called the Hanuman Chalisa, and I'm not the only one who has a song called the Hanuman Chalisa, but one version of it, which is very fast and kind of like a rap. And that has, is really speaking to some kids over in India because it's new and it's fun. So when we bridge the cultures together and we mix it can create this whole new possibility. And it's really fun to be part of seeing that happen and being part of singing that kind of music.
I love that. What wonderful experiences in different corners of the world, Brenda. Thank you. I mean, you're just like you're shedding your light, to all these different corners, but then bringing it back our way to the States.
Oh, thank you. So, it's an honor.
What was when you were growing up in Canada? Did you have exposure to some of these different cultures? I mean, what was your sort of path to finding spirituality?
Yeah, well, interestingly, where I grew up in British Columbia, many of my friends were of Indian descent. Their parents had come from India. And so I was exposed to Indian culture. However, I didn't really get exposed so much to mantra. But it's almost like it was this precursor to what I was going to discover later. But I had always, ever since I was a young teenager, I knew I wanted to go to India. I had an aunt who had traveled and stayed there, and she brought me back some wooden elephants. And I would look at those elephants and think, one day I want to go there and see those elephants. Like I would think that as a kid.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much obvious to me that it was a spiritual longing. Now I know that that's what that call was. But it was more just, I have all these friends whose parents come from different parts of India, and that would be so cool to visit. And So my spiritual, I grew up Catholic, and we were quite a church-going family, and I definitely, as I became an adult, there were parts of that tradition that that didn't resonate for me. But the part that always did was that there was something that my heart was connected to that is beyond my understanding. I always sort of knew that there's something else. I kind of lost the idea. I didn't resonate for me that there was a specific man in the sky. But there was but I knew there was something about this idea of love and of praying for people. That always made sense for me, praying for myself, for people, for the world, and for loving thy neighbor, that part felt true. And, but the mystical teachings of the mystical Eastern teachings really spoke more to me. And that's informed so much of my unfolding spiritually in my life.
It's fun, as I hear you tell your story, it makes me think about certain things of mine. And I remember like going to Catholic services. I like the incense a lot. It's just like, it's funny how certain aspects of our upbringing, and I like the singing. I always thought the pretty choir was, very soothing. Yeah. And calming. And then, of course, I liked singing Christmas carols a lot. Right, the best part of of Christianity for me. So yeah, it's really beautiful to see you mention little details like that were door openers to a different way. And I think we're just fortunate that we're living at a time that we're able to have the exposure, right, to different cultures, because maybe it wasn't always like that. I mean, right, we were more segregated. And also the means to not only learn about it through, I don't know, the internet, or certainly music coming in and world music, sort of being able to explore that before there was an internet, but, and even getting a chance to go to these places, right, and to learn more about it. Yeah, it's really... So, are there any sort of hopes for our gathering on Saturday night, Brenda? I mean, again, I'm kind of looking at this end of the year, people start to scatter, the holidays, maybe we're not in our rhythms, we tend to go and see our people perhaps, maybe a bit more travels, but, join me in sort of because what I'm getting from you is that you're a teacher and healer beyond just going to rock some good music for us, to uplift us that way. So I mean, do you have any thoughts about what you're bringing in and where you're at, like right now in this early part of December 2024? What's it feel like for you?
Love that. Well, I really feel that our gathering on Saturday, and then the other gatherings we're playing also Thursday and Friday and Sunday in Palm Springs, Encinitas, and Santa Barbara. Though all four of those are opportunities to just get together in a way that is allowing for connection and a deepening into our own hearts. So it's like connecting with each other, connecting with our hearts, and allowing our nervous systems to calm down. We've got so much happening, just so much in our psychic space, and our bodies are being held. And so, my intention will be for us to allow healing sound healing. When we sing in a group, sound healing is happening because we're all resonating with the sound together. So yeah, a place where we can relax. That's the word that's coming. Just let the nervous system come down, and to connect within and with others in a time where we can feel really disconnected. This is a chance just to do that. And I really want to invite people, because I know it's a busy time. So sometimes we might think, oh, well, I don't know if I can even take the time to go to that or this or that event. But this will be it's like a refueling, when we come together to do this, that we can meet all of the busyness of the season. It's like a way to fuel up.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. I really, really look forward to it. So I'm going to let you go. But before you say goodbye, I want to let everybody know that we have 2 pairs of tickets to join us in Los Angeles. And Brenda, absolutely, you are doing a tour. So you can go to brendamcmorrow.com to get information on all the shows. Sorry, I don't happen to have that at my fingertips,
You're right.
which I should do. But it's called the Heart of Fire Tour. Is that?
Yes, John Ducott and we did, the first part was in the Eastern U.S. in September. It's called Fire of the Heart.
Oh, Fire of the Heart.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then this is our the end of the tour is here in California. Yeah, so
That's
yeah,
great.
The Fire of the Heart.
So I look forward to it very much, and your music is I saw lots of it on YouTube, as well as, of course, Spotify and all the other fun places where one can stream. And Brenda, thank you. I know this was a spontaneous invitation to join us on Truth Be Told, but it was so great, and I will see you in person very, very soon.
Thank you. And I just want to say a special thank you to Dave Stringer and to the Oracle Collective for having us. And thank you so much to you, Bonnie, for inviting me. It was really fun. Last
Namaste.
minute. I love.
Namaste.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day and travel safe up here to the States.
Thank you.
Take good care. So everybody, just as promised, if you would like to come and see Brenda McMorrow and John Ducott this coming Saturday, which is December 7th in Los Angeles, it's at Veda Yoga Studio. They have a new studio on La Cienega. 2 pairs of tickets. You have up until, what are we going to say? Saturday morning. Okay, Friday night, Friday at midnight, to email info@clubparanormal.com, info@clubparanormal.com. It will be a random choice of two. You know what? I'm going to say 3 pairs of tickets. Okay. So email us to join. Okay. Because we would love to see you. And it's a little Club Paranormal, Earthly Foundations get together for us, as well as in the spirit of the holiday season. So I'm Bonnie Burkert, and I'm here to really meet with people who are bringing light and love to the world. And it is my true pleasure to do so as well, Tony Sweet on Fridays at 3 p.m. He's live with the community, so you should check out the YouTube channel and come on and say hi to Tony's 3 p.m. Pacific. And Robert Hensley plus Queer from the Other Side have new episodes every single week. So you can please join us, like what we're doing, share what we're doing, and we'd love to hear any comments as well. Okay, until the next time, we hope to see you Saturday night as well. Take good care, everyone, and shine on.
Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai